Hello everyone, and I this may be like a really short stream, maybe around 2 minutes. I don't really know, but I will be talking about what happened. As I think I was about to go to bed. I checked on my social media just to see if there was any super posts. Um, and what I found was a video. It wasn't a video. It was actually no, I think it was actually a tweet by Bob Parkers, and it was about. I don't care about ads. Jesus Christ. Okay, hang on. Yeah, okay. And it was actually I have it on Twitter, so let me just get it up. I did retweet it as well. So Bob Parkers, um, said so yeah, so Bob Parkers that has came out and said, Kyle Larson, he did a big oopsie, and He, the big upsie he did was he said the N word. Of course, probably I think the worst words you can ever say to someone, especially to a black person, to a African American, and did talk about some stuff. Um, of course, after that whole thing, sponsors have came up and gave their own take on it. Chip Ganassi was actually the first, um, was like the first, um, the first the company to actually speak out about this. And I need to get it's based right here. So Bob Parker said, so this is a quote from Chip Ganassi Racing. We are extremely disappointed by what Kyle said last night during an iRacing event. So it was actually an iRacing event. I think Landon Castle was hosting. It was actually around the old Monza track. Let me show you. So you know, like the circle, like the oval. So like there's so the oval here. So they did one around the oval. I, I think only around the oval. I don't actually remember. But yeah. So they did one around that, Monza, and yeah. So it was really bad. So during an iRacing event, the words that he chose to use are offensive and unacceptable. As of this moment, we are suspending Kyle without pay while we work through the situation with all appropriate parties. So basically, Chip Ganassi Racing have suspended Kyle Larson without pay, so they're not going to pay him at all. He's also been indefinitely suspended by NASCAR and must attend sensitive and sensitivity training as directed by NASCAR. The guidelines there, and this is what NASCAR quoted. NASCAR has made diversity and inclusion a priority and will not tolerate the type of language used by Kyle Larson during Sunday's iRacing event. Our member conduct guidelines are clear in this regard, and we will enforce these guidelines to maintain an inclusive environment for our entire industry and fan base. So it's crazy of what this basically has spiraled up, and it's actually gone worldwide as well. And is that he also did make a apology as well. So you can watch. So I will actually link some videos. I'll link basics. So I'll link basically like what he said. I'm not gonna play it because it's a racial slur, and me literally showing a video of someone saying the N word is already bad enough, so I'm not going to show that. Uh, so Larson said in quote, I wasn't raised that way. It was an awful thing to say. I feel very sorry for my family, my friends, my partners, the NASCAR community, and especially the African American community. I understand the damage is probably unrepairable, and I own up to that. And I'll be honest, it was actually a pretty good apology, unlike many others. Like Paul. Sorry. Sorry, I just I'm a little bit sick there. Sorry about that. But like, no jokes aside, it was actually pretty serious, and I don't know if he's going to really be paid to that. Like, it's probably damage up. Like, it is, but like unrepairable, and we'll see what Larson can do. I don't know if he can do anything, but yeah, it's gonna be quite tough uphill for him to legit come back from that. Also, a statement from iRacing, who's actually a sponsor for Kyle Larson. Um, so iRacing said in a statement, iRacing considers itself to be a welcome and inclusive community for racing enthusiasts all around the world. We have strict policies against offensive behavior and language. Kyle Larson's language last night during a streamed online race was both offensive and inappropriate, and in violation of our sporting code as such. Kyle Larson has been suspended indefinitely from iRacing service. So he's been suspended for I think every single iRacing service and event. Which also means I think someone needs actually to fill in that spot if the NASCAR Pro Invitational is still gonna happen. I don't know if it's still gonna happen. We have to see, but yeah, who knew that quarantine can mess up someone really really badly. We actually have two statements that came out from Credit One Bank, his primary sponsor. So the first one, so a statement from Credit One Bank states, Credit One Bank denounces the highly offensive language used by Kyle Larson during Sunday's iRacing event. We support the quick actions taken by NASCAR and the Chip Ganassi racing team to suspend Kyle indefinitely. To be honest, I also support it as well. I'm actually quite surprised of how quick it was. Um, of how quick Chip Ganassi and NASCAR was on, on actually making a statement. Like Chip Ganassi did a statement before NASCAR, which is actually quite surprising. And I do agree with like all like the punishments that NASCAR and Chip Ganassi have. I must just say this. Like the I don't know how you say it, but it's like um okay, like the punishment that they gave to Kyle. There we go. And yeah, Chevrolet Chevy's spokesperson stated Chevrolet has suspended its relationship with Kyle Larson indefinitely, as we do not tolerate this behavior. We will continue to monitor the events surrounding Mr. Larson and are prepared to take additional action. Here's the other statement. Credit One Bank, so Credit One Bank states, as stated earlier, Credit One Bank denounces the highly offensive language used by Kyle Larson during Sunday's iRacing event. In addition to the quick action taken by NASCAR and Chip Ganassi Racing, Credit One Bank is terminating its sponsorship of Kyle Larson. So they're still going to be with Chip Ganassi Racing, but they're terminating its sponsorship with Kyle Larson, and I think maybe Larson may get the boot from the 42 car this season because it's really bad, and maybe it may be a chance for Ross Chastain to maybe come um, to the Cup Series, even though Chastain is already in. the Cup Series Concord as he's racing for Ryan Newman to for him to like so Newman can recover after the Daytona wreck, which I did not analyze, but I'm not probably not going to do it. I don't know. McDonald's also made an announcement as well, a statement as well, um, saying we were extremely disappointed and applied to hear about and appalled to hear about this incident. The comments made by Kyle Larson are insensitive, offensive, and not reflective of our inclusive values and would not be tolerated. McDonald's is taking immediate reaction to terminate the relationship with Larson. McDonald's is also sponsor for Larson and another terminated sponsor. So I think we could definitely see that Larson is definitely going to get the boot, and maybe Chastain may come into the 42 maybe. I don't really know, but it definitely does seem like that. They also said both McDonald's and Credit One bank statements were um, specific. I cannot say that word. That they were dropping their relationship with Kyle Larson seems to indicate they are willing to possibly remain with the organization if with a different driver, which is highly likely. Probably diff, it would probably definitely be with a um, different driver. I should also probably go around into this article from Fox Sports. No, just block that. No one's allowed to know my location. Um, so basically, let me just like give you. So actually, no, I'll continue with this, and then I'll give you some context of what led up to this. This panel is an update, so I'll go to that soon. And then he said, if Chip Ganassi Racing opts to make permanent change should be noted that Ross Chastain has run every Cup race this year, so he is eligible to run for the Cup title. He would have to change eligibility of the series. He earns points and would have 0 points going into the next Cup race. It's kind of what he did in the Truck Series last season. So if you don't know, you probably don't really know at all. He was originally in the Xfinity Series, and then he decided to. That is a siren. Shut up, siren. Anyway, so Chastain first raced in the Xfinity Series and of course earned points then, and then he decided to actually switch his points, so he will have he will actually won't gain any points in the Xfinity Series, but he will now gain points in the Truck Series last season. Almost won the championship, so that was fun. Um, Advent Health, um, which is the last primary sponsor for Kyle Larson, made a statement um, saying, as an organization that is focused on creating a culture of inclusiveness and wholeness, which is oof, not not a really good look for them. For our patients and team members, we denounced Kyle Larson's use of racial slur during a virtual race over the weekend. Advent Health was not a sponsor of the event, but does have an ongoing partnership with his team, Chip Ganassi Racing. With the team Chip Ganassi Racing, we support the decisive action taken by NASCAR and Chip Ganassi Racing. I think this is also a retweet from Plan B Series, which is an independent distributor of NASCAR diecast. I don't know if they sponsor him. I don't think it does, but he did. There was a statement. Yeah, from Plan B Sales and Marketing. I think also a sponsor for them. I can't really remember. So they said, as many of you know, we've been associated with Kyle Larson since 2013. I did not know that, but now I know. From getting to him signed diecast in our warehouse, bringing him in to interact with fans during our biannual events during race week, to sponsoring him 2 years in a row for the Winter National Sprint Car races in Yuma. Okay, that probably makes sense why I don't know. Kyle has signed 1,000s and 1,000s of diecast cars for us, and we have likely spent 20 plus hours with him and around him. Never once has he come across to us as a person with ill intent towards anyone, and he would be the last person I would ever associate with any type of racism. Kyle called me personally earlier today to express his regretfulness about what he transpired. He sounded very somber and was very apologetic. I told Kyle I was proud of the way he's handling it, bringing it up front, not trying to hide it, not trying to bleh, not trying to hide, admitting his mistake, uh, admitting his mistake, and taking the steps to learn and grow from it. Although we do not condone or appreciate the slur Kyle used during his iRacing event last night, at the same time, we know he is an awesome young man that made a mistake, and we are going to stand by him 100% and help any way we can. So that was a post by Brent Powell. I think he may be the CEO of Plan B series. I don't really know. But it does look like that Plan B series is actually going to stick with Kyle Larson, even if he did say that. Um, Advent Health, so basically all of his primary sponsors in NASCAR have just gone. Um, not really tolerate with that. Plan B series will be the only sponsor that would not terminate his partnership. So they also did a reaction of it. Um, uh, Clover, which is another sponsor for Larson, also made a statement and said, "We denounce the language used during Sunday's iRacing event. We support the actions taken today by NASCAR and the Chip Ganassi Racing team, and we are terminating our sponsorship of Kyle Larson." So another termination. We don't really I don't really know what's gonna happen next to Larson, but this incident may end his whole racing career, and it's quite sad as I've actually been a fan of him since 2016, and it's sad that he. Of course I'm disappointed that he did say the N word. Of course, as he is a professional athlete, and I should probably know um, not to say it at all. Even if he knew that he was being recorded, he should have never known at all. Like it's it's sad, and yeah, I do hope he actually does recover from it, and well, not like yeah, well, like yeah, recover from it, and hopefully, like he does actually get back to racing because I really want to see him race again, as he was a really high prospect um, of NASCAR, and looks like his racing career has now gone downhill because of this incident. Of course, Of course, I will be talking about. Um, so I will be talking about basically like the context of it. So basically, Kyle was like saying like in the game in the voice chat of the game. So he said, "You can't hear me," and then it was a pause, and he said, "Hey, racial slur." Of course, everyone started freaking out, which I'm not even surprised about, as everyone should freak out when someone says the N word, like that. And yeah, and of course, like, and Alfredo tried to save and just say, Kyle, Kyle, we all heard that, and yeah, that the best part was like he was like so cool about it. Like when he said it, he just sounded so relaxed, which is quite confusing to be honest. But yeah. Oh, okay. So I guess they are going to do it. I think. Wait, that's real life. I think. Okay. Yeah. So it was a race actually put together by Atlantic Castle, a an, a another NASCAR driver. It was put together by Land and Castle on the iRacing platform, and so, according to Bob Parkhurst, typically it has taken people suspended under this policy 2 to 4 weeks to complete sensitivity training. Unclear how that impacts NASCAR suspension slash what NASCAR will do if he completes it prior to resumption of the season. So yeah, we don't really know. Okay, it's not dead. Okay, I thought my headset was dead. Nope, it just went idle basically. Oh yeah, so I think that's actually kind of it for me. I will be maybe doing another. I'll probably doing another stream in Car Mechanic Simulator, so watch out for that. Tomorrow I'm actually thinking maybe doing a Destiny 2 stream. Do that? Okay, so I'm thinking maybe doing a Destiny 2 stream. I'll be probably doing the campaign. Or maybe I'll probably maybe be doing it, but it's Spencer and Ebony, but I don't really know. Maybe I could probably do it today. I don't know, but I kind of want to do it alone first, just to check if all like the settings for like all like this, the stream settings are all good. And yeah, it's kind of it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Basically, my news. Well, yeah, basically like this little news about Kyle Larson and racial slur. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay safe, everyone. Stay at home. Wash your hands. It will and help us just try and kill COVID-19. So, catch you all later. Goodbye.